Well, we've made it to part 3 of my behind the scenes photo shoot for TCU Magazine at my childhood church. What an experience.
Like something was like ready to put out there. We did it, Joe.
As Desiree and I wrapped up there at the sanctuary, we took our exteriors, and then I took another trip that you're probably a little familiar with from one of my last books, Yes Please, 7 Ways to Say I'm Entitled to the C-Suite. But I expound on it a bit in my Substack because it really took me aback when I discovered in my research a fact that brought me to tears.
If I don't go by my old house where I grew up. I mention on my Substack and even in my books, if you read Yes Please, 7 Ways to Say I'm Entitled to the C-Suite, I talk about how my home was only moments from the church, and my mom, with her upbringing in the country, thought it was no problem to walk to church. And I was real little, and Joyce was, probably about 10, 11, something like that. And there we were walking in the Texas sun to church in our Sunday best, sweating. There's the golf course. Okay, we live on Van Cleve Drive. This is Van Cleve. I'm gonna turn. And this is the hill where my sister and eventually I would ride our bikes flying down this hill. No hands, no feet, just crazy. And we wind around this corner, and this is our house over here. Of course, they've added some things that we didn't have on the outside. I think there's an accessibility ramp for whoever lives there now, but and all that stuff on the porch, we didn't have all that. But that's our childhood home, and it was originally owned before it had that second story by Jethro Pugh of the Dallas Cowboys. Back when the Cowboys had humble beginnings and they lived amongst the land of the living, regular folks, common folks, before they had multi-million-dollar contracts. But this is the way my mom took us to church. We walked all the way down the street, and we walked. There's no sidewalk. We had to walk in that grass, and if we walked on the street, we had to make sure nothing was coming. And so we walked all the way around here. Y'all, I think we did it twice. And Mom was like, no, I'm not going to put my babies through that anymore. But this is where we went. And so I'm going to speed up. So, yeah. And so there's the light, the intersection we just went through when we left the church to go to my house, my home, my childhood home. And that street where you were on was also part of that plantation. Crazy. All right, bye.
Get more of the story behind the story for Call and Response, 10 leadership lessons from the Black Church on my Substack at lmichellesmith.substack.com. The TCU Magazine feature is headed your way in November.